G'day ladies and gents, welcome to the very first episode of Properly Chatting Up a Storm. Hopefully you have a fun time. We have some good topics to dive into, so regardless, hope you enjoy. Next Storm, the Australian icon. Next Storm, the Australian icon. G'day ladies and gents, I am your host, Nick Storm, the Australian icon, and welcome to the very first episode of Chatting Up a Storm. This is something that I actually wanted to do for a long time now. Actually wanted to try and make like a solo podcast because I do interviews a lot of the time. And, you know, those are always really fun. I don't want to stop doing them, but I think there's also a lot of topics to talk about when it comes to wrestling figures, the whole community around it as well. Some things need to be addressed sometimes. So I really wanted to try and make a podcast. I know people like podcasts as well. I love listening to podcasts. So yeah, let me know. If you guys want video as well for this, also let me know that as well. I wanted to try the first episode as audio just to see if I can ruffle out any feathers that I need to, because this is my first time doing something like this. So there's always going to be a little bit of bumps in the road, probably. Who knows? But regardless, we have some cool topics to talk to. I want to bring it over to my production assistant. You guys might know her as Night Shift Customs on Instagram, but I know her as Sarah. Sarah, how are you freaking doing?
Hey, I'm pretty good. How's it going?
Hell yeah, I'm good. So Sarah's basically here to talk about, topics. I want to ask her opinions and thoughts on some things. So, but for the most part, just going to be me gas bagging and rambling for maybe 50 minutes. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. I know I like listening to rambling nonsense all the freaking time because I do it anyway, and but you guys still listen, so who cares? If you made it this far, I'm already impressed. But the first issue I do want to talk about regards the Elite 91 Rob Van Dam chase figure. Now, I saw a post a couple days ago by Lesnar Time pretty much saying that the new RVD figure is very problematic. It has links to Nazis and World War II, and which is not the case at all. I think I made this very clear with a lot of Instagram posts, a lot of story posts as well. But basically he was saying, I don't know what to say about this. This seems like an important issue, or am I just mistaken? I have a question about RVD's chase outfit that was revealed today. It's like during World War II, the Japanese army that invaded Korea and China looks like the national flag, the rising sun flag, symbolizing militarism. Militarism. Am I saying that right, Sarah? Militarism.
Militarism? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that one. So, saying that the rising sun flag represents, stuff from military, World War II, and everything like that, spreading a lot of propaganda. And obviously, this post goes very in depth about the whole thing as well, about the more recent history of the rising sun flag. So the rising sun flag is the design on RVD's Elite 91 chase figure. It's right there on the front. It's got a yin yang in the middle of the circle, and it's all stylized to be Rob Van Dam kind of esque. And this guy is just pretty much spread a whole post saying how it's linked to Nazis and World War II, saying he probably doesn't want this figure to be made, to be honest. He wants it to stop production and everything like that. And obviously when you get someone who's complaining about something so passionately, you also get people in the comments siding with it automatically instead of doing their own research. I was very perplexed when I first saw this post. So instead of siding with this person, being like, this is bad, this is just bad automatically, I wanted to look it up myself. And Sarah as well, who's joined with me today, actually lives in Japan and has for nearly a decade now, maybe a decade, and actually studied a lot about Japanese culture and everything. I'll bring it to you, Sarah. What do you think about this whole situation?
Well, it's frustrating because, people in Western countries like America, Australia, generally there's not a lot taught about the whole history between Korea and Japan, and it's super complex. I do tend to side with Korea a lot about issues regarding World War II and everything, but this particular one, it's pretty much Korean propaganda, and it sucks because once you throw out the word Nazi, people have this like knee-jerk reaction to like side with the person who's kind of saying that they're offended. But it literally is just political propaganda. There's no like historical context to back it up. Pretty much like the rising sun flag, it's been used in Japan since like ancient times. Like, I mean, it came to use in like 1603, like throughout the country. Like it kind of
that's the thing. Like it's been Japan's, or it was until like recent when they changed their flag more recently. I say more recently, but I'm not sure. Do you know when they changed their flag from the rising sun to something else?
Yeah, well, it was being used as a military flag, but after World War II, the military was abolished, so the flag was also just not in use. But then it came back when they kind of reformed their like self-defense force, so it didn't really go out of use. It's always been one of their flags.
Yeah. I want to say as well, like Japan had it as their national flag from I think like as early as 1603, and if that's not early enough for you, that's like a fair few centuries ago. If that's not early enough for you, they also use it in the ancient times. The whole samurai warrior kind of thing. Use it as what would you say? Like would you say peace, faith? What would you say?
Yeah, I mean, it's still used as that, like to this day. It's a very, it's not just like a political thing. I mean, the Japanese government has been very forward in saying that, no, this isn't a political symbol, it's a cultural one. They use it for like celebrations, cultural events, festivals. Like I teach at a school and I see kids drawing it all the time. It's not a political statement. So
yeah. So yeah, Sarah lives in Japan and teaches at a Japanese middle school, and I remember like seeing this post first initially, and I felt weird about it. I don't know. I felt like if you're trying to cancel, this figure's production, why didn't you try cancel Rob Van Dam when he wore this attire? It's kind of ridiculous. Like, it's been blown way out of proportion, I think, especially in the past few years. Sarah, you can probably talk more on that in a little bit, but especially the past few years, like it's kind of like the relationship between Korea and Japan, right? That's like the main thing. So how did this whole propaganda thing start then?
I mean, Japan and Korea, they do have a lot of issues that are like very valid and they need addressing and stuff. But basically this one with the whole like rising sun thing, Korea didn't have any issues with the flag. No one did until I think it was like 2011, 2012. There was like some soccer game where like some players got into like kind of a feud, kind of like racially stereotyping each other, like Koreans and Japanese people. And the Korean players kind of decided to make a fuss about the rising sun flag. They kind of just kind of pulled it out of thin air, sort of like fabricating this issue. And then it became like, it kind of snowballed. It became like a political talking point in South Korea. And it sucks because they're kind of just, they decided that it was sort of like a Nazi symbol, which it's not. They're kind of just redefining history through this really like distorted lens. That doesn't have any basis in like factual history. So yeah.
And it's kind of crazy as well because Lesnar Time put on his story, for anyone unaware, Lesnar Time put on his story a screenshot of like people reaching out, and he blurred out the profile pictures, but I could easily tell who both the people were. The first one was Bill McKenna, and he's the actual like lead designer of these figures. So if he's reaching out to this very biased kind of political propaganda post, it's ridiculous to me. Like it completely makes no sense. I get they're trying to save face. They have really like high-end jobs, right? And they probably don't want to lose it. They want to do everything to try and be as PC as possible. But it's like a simple research. I even posted something on my Instagram from, I think they're Japanese. I could be wrong. But they even said this verbatim. They said, start quote, they said, "The action figure of Rob Van Dam in the Rising Sun flag outfit is so cool, I bet that it will be very popular. The Rising Sun motif has been used since the days of the Samurai Warrior. We pay respect to Mr. Rob Van Dam for wearing the Rising Sun flag outfit." So even like Japanese people respect it. Like it's another thing. I don't know why, but it's kind of making me think of cultural appropriation for some reason. and like how blown out of proportion that is. But that's a complete like whole other topic for another day. We're talking about wrestling figures, okay? Talking about wrestling figures here, but they even have like people from Japan like being completely all right with it. The only people I've seen complaining about this in their bio, it says like Korea or something like that, Korean, which completely makes sense because that's exactly what the government's been trying to do, I guess. Or I don't know. You can talk more on that, Sarah.
Yeah, pretty much. It's not really founded in like factual history. It has basically just been this political talking point in the last decade. It hasn't even been going on for very long.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like I don't know. It's a bit weird, especially if like WWE let it go through or wherever he wore this attire. I'm pretty unsure, but I think it might have been WWE. If they let the green light go for this, and people didn't get mad back then. But the thing about like today as well is a lot of people are very overly sensitive. Let's talk about cancel culture real quick. Like you see people on Twitter making such false allegations. You see someone with like a celebrity, for example, who has like a huge platform, I don't know, maybe like a life that people will be jealous of. Let's be real. They've got like a really great job. They've got a great house, great family, whatever the case may be. And people seem to, I've seen this a lot. I don't want to get into like, the kind of kind of harsh reality of it, but people make false allegations to a certain celebrity about like sexual abuse or something along the lines of domestic violence or something like that. We've seen it. We've seen it with Johnny Depp, right? A lot of people canceled Johnny Depp because they heard that him and his wife, who I can't remember at the time her name, but his wife, they were getting into like a lot of arguments, a lot of abuse, and people canceled Johnny Depp for it. He lost he lost a couple of jobs over it. He lost a couple acting roles. One is Grindelwald in Fantastic Beasts, I think, like that. The whole Harry Potter kind of film series, I guess, franchise spin-off, if you like to say. He lost his role because of that whole thing, and it came out. Amber Heard, that's her name. It came out later. There was like a court hearing, something like that. I think Amber Heard was actually abusing Johnny Depp. So it was more Amber Heard than Johnny, and it sucked to see someone so talented like Johnny Depp and have that happen to him. And that's not even like all of the instances this has happened to him. Complete false allegations. People on Twitter tend to jump to one thing a lot of the time. And now I'm seeing this with this post as well. A lot of people in the comments are siding with this person. There was even one saying this. I thought this post was very educational. Google is even more educational if you want to read up on it. Just because a post says a lot of words doesn't mean you have to believe it. Google has way more words you can read and actually, educate yourself on this further if you really want to. But it's like ever since you get a Twitter account, you can just destroy someone. It's kind of insane. What do you think about cancel culture, Sarah?
yeah, I think it's just like this whole thing. It's super dangerous to kind of have this knee-jerk reaction, especially because there's so much propaganda that goes on between Korea and Japan. If you don't live here, it's hard to really know, like understand like what's propaganda, what's factual like information. So just if people have this knee-jerk reaction where they kind of side with the person who says, "Oh, I'm offended by this," then you're validating misinformation. And if like say they took the figure off the line, they didn't release it because of these reactions.
Yeah, that causes
gives
like a ton
to
of like that. Yeah, that gives credit to it, and also causes a lot of production issues as well. Because Bill
Mhm.
McKenna showed off a prototype on the Ringside Fest. It reveals, I think, maybe a week ago or so. So that means like production's been in order for this figure for a long time. That's a lot of money wasted, a lot of time wasted if you're going to cancel this figure. And I don't know if Mattel has it in their budget. They probably do. They're one of the leading toy companies of the world. But I still think it's really unfair. We're probably going to see this a lot with talent who have been released recently. We'll get into that a little bit later. We'll talk about all the releases that came out today as well as we're recording. But yeah, it's like if you're stopping production, the Bronson Reed went through still in Elite 90. I'm so glad that did because that's such a good looking figure. And he's an Australian boy like myself, one Australian icon to another. And we'll see about the Adam Cole Elite in Elite 92. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe we'll get it. Maybe we won't. Hopefully we do. That'll be our last Adam Cole Elite. Probably. I don't see him leaving AEW for WWE anytime soon. So that'll definitely be his last Elite. But yeah, I think that's like super unfair as well. Who knows if people are siding with this a lot enough to actually get this taken off the shelves. Sarah, do you think this RVD is going to get cancelled? I hope it doesn't, honestly. I really don't. But then again, I wouldn't doubt Mattel would do something like that to save face or something.
Mm-hmm. I really hope it doesn't, just from the standpoint of how dangerous that is. Because if that becomes the narrative based on people like cancel culture and people just knee-jerk reaction, like, oh, we have to take this figure down, that's so dangerous because then you're essentially redefining history and you're saying, oh, this is what this symbol means when it doesn't, you know? That's so dangerous.
Yeah, I think that's god awful. If they changed the design, I see that happening. There was a video that I put on my Instagram of Bill McKenna actually talking about the Randy Orton figure from Elite 90. That figure was in production before WrestleMania, before he wore that attire, I should say. The base white and the red accents on the designs. That figure was in production before then, and Bill McKenna was kind of saying they had a different Randy Orton gear planned for that Elite, but when Randy Orton came out on WrestleMania in that gear, there was no question about it. It's easier to change the colors of a figure than to obviously, make new tooling for sculpt new stuff. So that makes sense. But I think it probably, if you want to make everyone happy, change the design maybe. Because I think the Rising Sun attire of RVD is it's a great looking attire. I think it looks super clean. But there's, been a ton more attires that are easy enough to be like, people will buy this as much as they'll buy the Rising Sun one. Like, for example, I can't remember where it's from, but Rob actually wore like an attire. It was really cool. It's like a green dragon on the front. He wore it when he was versing Kurt Angle and Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't remember the pay-per-view at all. Maybe it was SummerSlam. I don't know. Probably not. I'm probably bullshitting here, but he wore that attire, and I think that's a very hype and like popular attire. And regardless, like the tiger stripes are really cool. If you don't want to get this Rising Sun flag figure because you're offended by it, don't get it. I understand, but don't get it. Like, just don't get it, dude. If there was a figure that came out and someone's attire said Nick Storm sucks so much, I probably would still get it because that's pretty cool. But if I got offended by it, I wouldn't go out and buy the figure. Like, it's so easy to avoid this situation, I feel. But people don't want to, and they want to yell about it and scream at the clouds. So, and the fact you're getting a choice of 2 RVD figures as well is great. And I hope it stays that way. I hope we can have the opportunity to have 2 Rob Van Dam figures in the same Elite line since his last and only Elite from 2014, which I paid top dollar for, and I regret it instantly because freaking new figure, god damn it. But regardless, you get a choice of 2. If you don't like the Rising Sun flag, get the tiger stripes, or just wait out. If you don't even like the tiger stripes, wait out for a new RVD Elite. If this is not going to be like his last Elites, I don't think. If he signed with like a Legends deal because he's a WWE Hall of Famer now officially, if he signed with a Legends deal, that gives Mattel opportunity to make merchandise, everything like that. It gives WWE the opportunity to make merchandise and everything. So if that is the case, I think it'd be fine if they change the design. If anything, I don't think they should cancel the production. Sarah, are you familiar with RVD attires?
A little bit, yeah. I think there's a lot to choose from.
Yeah, because I was thinking if that one didn't go through, if they had to last minute change the design, this is the question of the day. If they had to last minute change the design of the RVD Elite 91 Chase, what attire would you pick? Comment down below, or let me know on Instagram at Nick Storm Review. Let me know down below what attire you would choose over this. To be honest, what would you choose, Sarah, if you had the choice?
I don't think I know any.
Yeah, to be honest, I would love to see a One Night Stand 2006 Rob Van Dam attire, but I think they should hold off for an Ultimate Edition that can come with like the briefcase, the WWE title, the ECW title. I think that'd be cool. Someone brought it up. I can't remember who it was. I'm sorry, I'm blanking, but you know who you are. They brought up to a DM saying if Cena wins Riot, that sign, that very famous sign, they should put that in it, which was really funny. I think that'd be pretty cool to put in an Ultimate Edition Rob Van Dam, and they have the opportunity to as well. Now that like I said, Andy, Rob Van Dam signed a Legends contract, so Ultimate merch, everything like that is going to be really great. But yeah, One Night Stand 06 would be great. The previous match I said, like the Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Kurt Angle, Rob Van Dam match would be really cool. That attire, not really sure when else he's worn that. He's probably worn that a ton of times now, but there's a bunch of greats to pick and choose. That's not even like two of the best, to be honest. Those are just two examples. I like the all red attire he's had with the dragon on the front. I think that looks really cool. I think Jack's made a figure of that. I have that somewhere. But yeah, ultimately, any last thoughts on this whole thing, Sarah?
Yeah, I think it would have made things a lot easier if they had just done a different attire to begin with, but I think now that it's out there, I really don't want them to change it just because I don't want them giving credit to
I don't want them to cave
political
in.
propaganda. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because then they're winning, and it's stupid. Like
Yeah.
it's big misinformation, and then they're just winning. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So yeah, that is the RVD segment of the video. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on the whole topics and everything over on Instagram at Nick Storm Review, or right here on YouTube or Spotify, wherever you're listening. Leave a review, message me, what have you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Going on to the next topic, I actually put something on my story asking people if there's any certain topics anyone wants me to talk about. I got a lot of people saying talk about the budget cuts. Now, there's been released a lot of budget cuts this morning for at least me this morning, technically. There have been a bunch of budget cuts WWE has made. WWE went off, sis. Again, Queen Slay. They went off. And I'll list out a few names. I'll list out all the names here. So, WWE has reportedly released, this is all per Fightful Select, Sean Ross Sapp. They have stated WWE has reported released the following: Scarlett Bordeaux, Frankie Monet, Ember Moon, Trey Baxter, Karrion Kross, Oni Lorcan, B-Fab, Jessica Mia, Zayda Ramir, Grand Metalik, Lindsay Dorado, Jeet Rama, Katrina Cortez, Nia Jax, Keith Lee, Harry Smith, and Mia Yim. Now, this took me away. I think this might have been the set of releases that shocked me most. I don't know. The whole Aleister Black thing really kind of that kind of messed me up, I think. But that was just one person. This whole list right here, I think this might be one of the worst cases of releases, especially since they're trying to do so. Two names that jump out: Keith Lee and Karrion Kross. They're trying to do so much with them on TV, and to just completely be like, nah, it's fine. We'll just release them. It makes no sense. They tried making Keith Lee heel. I think Keith Lee would have been a great heel, but regardless, they tried something new with Keith Lee, and that really pisses me off. So that was all for nothing. That whole thing. So Keith Lee got suspended. Not suspended. Sorry, released. Keith Lee got released, along with Keith Lee's. I don't know if it's wife or girlfriend or fiance or something like that. But Keith Lee's partner, Mia Yim, also got released. We got a new elite of her in Elite 90, I believe. We got a new elite of her pretty recently, so I think we're all stocked up for that now that she's been released. It's kind of ridiculous. I don't know if it's per to Keith Lee's health issues he had early in the year. If you guys didn't know, Keith Lee and Mia Yim, I think both got COVID, or maybe Mia Yim got COVID. I can't remember, but there was a lot of underlying health issues, especially with Keith Lee and Keith Lee's heart. There's been a lot of issues. I'm not too informed to properly talk on that. It's a quick Google search away if you want more context to that. But that really blows my mind. They let him off to heel and everything like that. It's great. He comes back as a huge monster heel, which he's very capable of. WWE just doesn't know how to use Keith Lee. If they don't know how to make someone who was NXT champion and North American champion at the same time, had held both of those titles at the same time, if they don't know what to do with that on the main roster, then what the hell? Like, what? How do you not know how to use Keith Lee? That's ridiculous. Do you know what are you doing? Like, Keith Lee's probably one of the most I don't know, kind of like jack of all trades kind of thing. He's great. He can do huge power moves. He's great. He's strong as hell. He can also do flippies, you know? He does like a huge moonsault off the top rope. He's very like, I don't know, I want to say like acrobatic in a way, but you know Keith Lee, if you know his work, like that guy can just freaking just go. He can go and he won't stop. I really enjoy Keith Lee matches, so this really hurt to hear. And another one as well, Karrion Kross. I don't know what happened there. Karrion Kross, they made him like some BDSM icon symbol type dude. He came to Raw wearing like a freaking whole like gimp suit. I'll just say that. And now they don't know what to do with him. It's like I feel like they kind of WWE had these coming. Maybe they knew they were going to release Karrion Kross or Keith Lee, and they were like, let's try one final thing with them, see if it sticks. And obviously, in their minds, it wasn't sticking. Now, I don't keep up with WWE enough, like their weekly shows enough to fully know what's going on with their character and everything. I just know that they thought it wasn't working. Well, it's not working because it's your problem. You're the ones booking this. You're the ones writing these. And it's now your problem that these people have been released. It's not like, oh, well, they couldn't, adapt to the situation. You released them because you messed up. That's basically it. And that sucks as well. If it's someone's job, that sucks. If you get fired from your job for trying something new, but if your boss assigns you to do something and you're just simply trying it and you're trying so hard at it and to improve it, and then you can't even see, the boss can't even see your full potential because he fires you. I think that sucks. Another name that kind of threw me off as well was Ember Moon. Ember Moon's been in WWE for a long time now. I'm not sure of the exact amount of years. It could be up to a decade at this point. Ember Moon's, insanely talented former NXT Women's Champion. Another one, Nia Jax as well. That kind of, if you didn't release her earlier, well, I don't know why you didn't, because the amount of injuries she has caused in the past. I mean, I'm glad she's finally released. Maybe she can try and focus on her in-ring work more. That I think would be great. She needs it. Put her back into go to Flatback's wrestling training school. All right, go see Tyler Breeze. Give him a high five. Say Nick Storm, the Australian icon, sent you. Okay, and then take a freaking bump, dude. Take a back bump. Do a forward roll. Do something. It's kind of crazy how unsafe Nia Jax has been, and she's only just got released or let off or anything of that matter. She was still wrestling. Like the thing with her and Charlotte a few months ago, that was ridiculous. I think Charlotte's the main person who causes problems, so let's be real. The whole Becky and Charlotte thing. Yeah. Anyway, Charlotte to AEW confirmed at some point, hopefully. Anyway. But yeah, Scarlett Bordeaux as well. They didn't have Scarlett coming out with Karrion Kross on Raw, I don't think, which makes no sense because those two are like sticking like glue, they're like glue. I don't think you should separate Scarlett and Karrion Kross. You should never do that because I think Scarlett was a big part of Karrion's whole NXT run. She was a great partner as well, pretty integral. She was a great character as well when it comes to the whole Karrion Kross sort of character as well. So Grand Metalik and Lindsay Dorado as well really, really, I don't know, took me off guard. Only Lorcan, it's ridiculous. Harry Smith, they signed Harry Smith like 4 months ago? They signed him 4 months ago. And they just released him now. That's not even the worst of it. BFAB, I believe, signed a new extension to her contract last week. And just got released from it. What? What's happening? WWE, is this a typo? Did someone hack into the mainframe and accidentally release a bunch of these people for no reason? I don't really get it. I'm not sure. But regardless, all these people are very talented, minus Nia Jax. All these people are very talented. And I think they'll all be fine. No matter where they go, they'll probably find really a lot of ease in whatever company they choose to do, whatever path they choose to do. May not even be wrestling. Who knows? Adam Scher, he's been doing a lot of other stuff, formerly known as Braun Strowman. He's been doing a lot of other stuff outside of wrestling, which is great as well. Another one comes to mind, Jake Atlas. He recently retired. I think he's in his like mid-20s. He recently retired from pro wrestling because he wanted to start a new chapter in his life. Completely respect that. That's great. So whatever the people choose to do, I'm on board with. I'll probably support Keith Lee and Karrion Kross wherever they go because I think they're absolute powerhouses. Karrion Kross should go back to Impact, honestly. Killer Kross was great. I think that should definitely happen. Keith Lee, give Keith Lee a little bit of a run in AEW maybe, and then get him to sign somewhere else, or even AEW, who knows. I think Keith Lee and AEW would, oh my god. Sarah, could you imagine Keith Lee being like the first black AEW champion?
Oh man, that'd be good.
I think even AEW champion regardless, I think Keith Lee is so insanely talented and he could put on a ton of great matches in AEW. What do you think?
Dude, yeah, I think that'd be perfect. I'd love to see him in AEW.
Yeah. What do you think of these releases? Which one caught you off guard the most?
I think that one. I think it was like 5 a.m. You told me that.
Yeah.
I was like trying to process it. I was like, no, not Keith Lee. Like, no. Did I hear that right?
Yeah,
so
because
weird.
the first releases came out. It was like Scarlet, Ember Moon, Carrion, and I was like, oh no, it's happening again. This was while all the releases were coming out. Maybe 10 minutes after, I was like, okay, it's fine. And then I saw someone in a group chat I was in said, Keith Lee just got released. And I didn't see a screenshot anywhere of the Sean Ross Sapp saying it or anything like that. So I was like, it's not true, dude. They wouldn't release Keith Lee. Like, they actually wouldn't release Keith Lee. They're like, that's not me trying to be in denial. That's just like, no, they wouldn't release Keith Lee. That makes no sense. And come to find out, it's true. Not sure what the reasons were. Budget cuts. Let's be honest. This and last year, I think, have been WWE's most financially growing years. To be honest, I think Nick Khan said like something like that. I don't know. Some stats came out, but it's been one of the highest grossing years. Like, they can do it like a Saudi show in 1 year, and it can make more money than AEW's pay-per-view, whatever. All 4 of AEW's pay-per-views, if they do that one Saudi show. So like, what's the problem there? I don't get that at all. Yeah, what do you think of Nia Jax getting released there?
I mean, I think it's about time. Like, it's been a long time coming. So.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw it a little bit ago, but I made like a little meme, and it was a compilation video of Nia Jax, all of like the people she's injured in matches, and in the back there's Whitesnake playing "Here I Go Again on My Own." So going down the only road I've ever known. So that's the only singing you're gonna get out of me of this episode, but yeah, it's oh my god, dude. I still seriously can't believe it still. I'm kind of in disbelief, but regardless, it's happened. Better to just move on. I can't wait to see what Keith Lee, Karrion, and a bunch of other those talented names. Only Lorcan for one. Biff is back. I can't wait to see what they do. But moving on to, speaking of budget cuts. So we got some contracts expiring pretty soon in the next coming months. So recently came out per Fightful Select, so that Kyle O'Reilly's contract is going to come up in December. It's actually going to expire in December. Oh boy. If this is the case and he doesn't re-sign and makes a show up at like AEW, we could get a Undisputed Era reunion in AEW. I think they'd book that really well as well. Like, they could have like, there's still some inner turmoil with the 3 of them maybe, because they split up earlier this year maybe. I think my times might be off, but they split up earlier. There could be like some turmoil. They could have a triple threat. They could do whatever. They could have a reunion. I think it'd be really cool. It'd be a whole shock to the wrestling world as well, saying, okay, how is this even possible? Like, if this was WWE, they would strive so far away. They'd try to make probably like NWO Part 2 and like, I don't know, have Adam Cole change his name to Budge and get a haircut and everything like that. But yeah, Kyle O'Reilly's contract's coming up in December. Great wrestler. I'm glad. I hope wherever he goes, he's going to be happy as well. It's going to be great. Unless he re-signs with WWE, I see no reason to. I don't really see him doing much in NXT now, NXT 2.0 at least. And I don't see him as a main roster kind of guy. So where else does he go? I think he signed somewhere else, to be honest. But speaking of Kyle O'Reilly's contract, another one that's more older news, but Kevin Owens' contract is going to expire on January the 31st. Now, there was a segment on Raw I saw with Big E and Kevin Owens, and, you know, Kevin Owens mentioned, even if I'm here for 3 months, 3 years, or whatever he said, which is kind of funny because 3 months away is January. So the fact he said that's pretty funny. And then Big E goes on to say something about Mount Rushmore as well. So these teasers are getting me really excited. When Adam Cole's contract was actually coming up, or his handshake deal that he would stay till after SummerSlam, when that was coming up, I still had a little bit of doubt. I was like, oh, he definitely could re-sign. But now thinking back of it, now that he's in AEW, why would he have re-signed? His girlfriend in AEW, all his best friends are in AEW. You know, I'm not saying the party, like the up, down crew aren't his best friends, because they probably definitely are. I don't even want to say probably, they definitely are. So, but you know, his girlfriend, Kenny, all that, and plus like new people to wrestle. NXT is such like a niche kind of group of talent. I feel like you can only do so much with them. I mean, there's new guys coming in all the time, everywhere. But I don't think that's the vision that NXT 2.0 wants to have with, like, you know, smaller guys or whatever. They want to have bigger guys, more jacked. WrestleMania worthy. So yeah, Kevin Owens' contract being up in January, making me kind of, I don't know, have a little bit of doubt, but who knows? Maybe he'll show up in AEW and I'll be like, why was I even doubting it? It makes complete sense. Just like the Adam Cole thing. Just like the Bryan Danielson thing as well. I had big doubts because I saw Daniel Bryan as a WWE lifer kind of guy. But I'm so glad he's not. I'm so happy he's not. Just because I say that doesn't mean I wanted him to be a WWE lifer. No freaking chance in hell. I'm so glad. Bryan Danielson is a freaking badass compared to Daniel Bryan, dude. Like, even the chant, like, you're going to get your effing head kicked in. Dude, no one would chant that. No one chanted that in WWE. I didn't know that existed because all I knew from Bryan Danielson was his WWE work. No one even chanted that. I didn't even know that was a chant until recently. So that's really cool as well. And the fact he gets to be more hard hitting. He's got till 5 ref. You know, he's doing all old Bryan Danielson stuff, I understand, which is really freaking awesome as well. So anyway, what do you guys think about that whole situation? Sarah, Kevin Owens, Kyle O'Reilly, what do you think?
Oh man, it's so cool just seeing people come in and kind of reunite with old groups and seeing how they're gonna redo that. Like,
exactly, and not to mention, like, Mount Rushmore. Everyone is in AEW. Adam Cole, the Young Bucks, and Kevin Owens maybe in a few months. Who knows? We could get like a reunion of the Mount Rushmore. We could get a reunion of the Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling. So I think that's really great. Yeah, the fact, Kyle, what do you think? Do you think either Kyle or Kevin will re-sign with WWE?
I mean, there's always a chance because it's easier to stay where you are than kind of take a risk and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would love to see them go over to AEW, see what they do over there, and what other kind of potential they have. Yeah,
and this isn't even on my notes, but I'm going to bring this up as well. The whole kind of Ring of Honor thing going on as well. I think people are very well versed if they're probably listening to this. What happened with Ring of Honor? They're trying to reimagine the whole brand. They're releasing a bunch of talent in December. I think all of that talent they're releasing, which includes likes of Jonathan Gresham, Danhausen, to say the least. Just the few that come to mind first. I would love to see Danhausen in AEW. I know I keep saying I'd love to see everyone in AEW, but it's true. I would love to see everyone in AEW because I love the matches. The matches that AEW puts on, you know, the Barn Burners, the Bryan Danielsons, the Kenny Omegas, even the Young Bucks. I love Young Bucks matches. Dark Order have grown on me so much. I'm a big fan of their matches. So I think Danhausen and AEW would be pretty cool. They could have like, I've always imagined Danhausen and CM Punk kind of having a Randy Orton Matt Riddle kind of relationship, you know, like kind of like, you know, best friends, but like Danhausen, like CM Punk's more like, okay, yeah, dude, get out of here. But Danhausen's like the annoying little like guy who like just sticks around. I think that'd be really funny. What do you what do you think, Sarah? I mean, I think ultimately you would want Danhausen in AW, right?
Yeah, I would
Wait,
love to see that.
send him to Impact, bro. Yeah. No, I think he needs to go to AEW. He's got Chris Judas, yes, and a lot of his other friends in AEW as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, what do you think? Do you want Danhausen in the dub?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's, I mean, every week you see his signs right in the front row, people wanting him to join.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm just I'm thinking back to his most recent vlog as of recording this. It was the Jericho Cruise of 2021, and there was like all elite housing signs, like bringing them to his meet and greet and everything like that. He must get bombarded with messages and tweets and stuff like that saying to hop over to AEW, which is great. You know, yeah, you see every week people wearing his merch, people having signs. Get well soonhausen was like, or get better soonhausen, I think, something like that. That was like one of the like signs in the front row, I think. So I think there's a big demand for it. I think it'd be really awesome. Get like a wider kind of, range on Danhausen, because I think he is a very niche kind of performer, for now at least. You know, not many people watch Ring of Honor, not many, but like that. I think Danhausen's success, maybe even kind of, I don't know, it kind of outcons like even Ring of Honor and like how niche that audience is. Because I found out of from Danhausen, not from Ring of Honor, from his Instagram. I found out about him. I was like, okay, everyone's posting this guy. What's he doing? What's he doing? Why is he everywhere? I mean, I love his thing. Uh, so I checked him out, fell in love with him instantly. Uh, Comedy wrestling is very subjective, but I'm a big fan of it. I think Orange Cassidy is really funny. The whole match with what is it, Jarvis, Gentleman Jarvis, or something like that, where he's falling asleep in the ring. The guy brings out the pillow and the blankie from underneath the ring and puts him to sleep and everything. I think that's hilarious. You gotta have comedy. If it's just like straight drama, then you're not gonna capture the audience or as much of an audience as you think you could. I don't think so. A lot of people are complaining about that Ghostbusters Dark Order kind of match for some reason. Jim Cornette was shitting on it heavily, Sarah.
Oh yeah, he did not like that.
Dude, he doesn't like a lot of things, but there's some things I agree with Jim Cornette, but there's also some things I don't. It's a bunch of the Kenny and Young Bucks and Adam Cole stuff he was talking about. I don't really agree with. And Dark Order, I think Dark Order is great, but then again, opinions are all subjective. There could be someone listening right now who completely sides with that Jim Cornette take, which is completely fine. So, but yeah, that is that kind of portion of it. Ring of Honor releasing everyone. Sarah, do you think this is a good call by Ring of Honor to sort of like, release everyone and kind of refurbish it? Because I think I saw an article, it was like, with the growth of All Elite Wrestling, Ring of Honor's been in the shitter or something like that. What do you think?
Hmm. I don't know. I mean, I feel like there had to be something really dramatic going on internally for them to take this drastic of a step. I have no idea what it would be, but
I think it was financially as well, because speaking of Jim Cornette, I listened to him talking about that whole Ring of Honor thing and talking about how they kept all their wrestlers, on contract during the pandemic. They didn't release anyone, which is like great. People kept their jobs, people kept a steady income through the pandemic, which is really awesome. But then again, you're gonna have like consequences that come along with that. I feel like, because financially, I think it's more like maybe a financial kind of deal. More people aren't seeing Ring of Honor every week. A lot of, because I think the days and the times change for Ring of Honor shows. I could be wrong, but there's a very niche crowd for Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor put on great matches. I personally don't tune into it every week, but if there's a match that people are talking about heavily, I will. I love a lot of the old Ring of Honor kind of matches as well, like CM Punk, Adam Cole, got some great stuff. But yeah, Sarah, I think it is like maybe sort of a financial thing. It could be, but like a whole redesigning, like What do you think? Releasing everyone from their contract as well.
I mean, I don't see how that's effective, just completely refurbishing the whole company, unless there's
Yeah.
kind of
I feel
a.
like you could you see how NXT just like you see how NXT just completely redesigned and re like kind of redesigned like the whole way of thinking with NXT 2.0. So and that they didn't have to like take time off for that. So it probably like is very severe for them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if there's any sort of like spoken agreements between the wrestlers and the company, like, okay, you guys are coming back at this certain time, because I
Hmm.
don't see them just throwing away every single person that they have.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of ridiculous, but. Okay, that's the kind of budget cut section of the podcast. Yeah, hope you guys are enjoying this. This isn't like my first time doing a solo thing like this, so rambling with no audience is kind of crazy. But I do this anyway with Sarah all the time. So recording it for entertainment, I think. Why not do it anyway? If you're listening to this on like your drive to work or something like that, drive, or if you're just listening to this out of pure boredom, I love you dearly. Thank you. But another topic that happened over the past couple of days. Kalisto got released from WWE, and I think is now going by Samurai del Sol. And yeah, Samurai del Sol. And he's put onto Twitter. This was after his match on Dynamite this week, where he took on FTR. He said, prayed and talked to John (brackets Brody Lee) before my match. Thank you for showing me your home, AEW, and giving me the strength and energy I needed today. Forever, you're in my heart. And okay, that's like a really wholesome like kind of tweet. Like that's a great tweet. Good on him and stuff like that is, but Chris Jericho quote tweeted it. You guys may have seen this. Chris Jericho quote tweeted this and said, "You spelled his name wrong." Talking about Brody Lee, or AKA John. So Samurai del Sol spelled John with an H, and I can't believe this is a problem. Like this happens all the time. People spell my name with like just a C and no CK. I don't. I don't know. I don't get mad at it. I'm pretty sure I don't want to speak for I definitely don't want to speak for Brody Lee or John Huber. I don't want to speak for him at all. But knowing like what kind of guy he was just from the stories I've heard, it would seem ridiculous that he would get like upset about something like this. But yeah, Chris Jericho quote tweeted Samurai Del Sol saying you spelled his name wrong. Uh, like, dude, come on. Why'd you have to even bring that up? I don't know if it was like maybe Samurai Del Sol got heat from that from other people, but I really don't see this as much of a problem. And also, there's a tweet dating back from 2010 of Chris Jericho referencing Eddie Guerrero in a tweet, and he actually spelled Eddie with a Y and not Eddie. He spelled it Eddy. Hey Chris, you spelled his name wrong. I don't know. Chris is the GOAT in a lot of many ways, but sometimes his views and a lot of things is I don't know, kind of kind of like on thin ice. Sarah, what do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a weird response. I don't know. The way I look at it is, it feels more like he could have just been responding out of grief. The man passed away.
Mm.
That's really hard. So people respond to like their own hurt in different ways. I don't know. Maybe he saw that and was having a bad day and just kind of responded without thinking. It could have just been from a place of hurt. And I don't know.
Mm.
People do weird things when they're grieving. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think it made a lot of sense, but like that sort of thing doesn't usually.
Yeah, it's coming up to a year since his passing, so it is going to be a very trying time for a lot of people. But the thing about this as well is I saw Amanda Huber actually, responding to the whole like kind of situation on Twitter. And I thought she'd be like, "Ah, Chris, it's not a big deal. Like, come on, man. Like, it's fine. People respect it and love John, and people know what they're talking about. If someone spelled my name as NIC, I wouldn't give a shit, dude. If I passed and someone did that, I wouldn't care less. But then again, I don't want to speak for anyone. But Amanda Huber responded to Chris Jericho saying you spelled his name wrong. Amanda Huber is the widow of John Huber, Brody Lee. And Amanda said she responded with a GIF from the Eric Andre show saying, "Why are you booing me? I'm right." And someone replied with that and said, "I think because English isn't Samurai del Sol's first language, so probably didn't realize." And Amanda said, "Yeah, non-excuse to spell someone's name wrong if you're name dropping." And another person replied to that and said, "Amanda, this is really odd, respectfully." Amanda said, why is that? Like, I feel like it's reasonable to expect a certain level of respect of spelling someone's name right if you want to name drop them. I mean, like, obviously, yeah, but it's like, it's not a big deal. Sarah, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, objectively, like, if it was anybody else and they were kind of nitpicking that sort of thing, it's kind of like, like, let it go. That's weird.
Dude,
but,
someone was paying respect to
yeah.
her late husband. Someone was paying respect to it.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell happened?
Yeah, if it was anybody else, I would have been like, that's a very weird response. Like, but it's her husband, like,
Yeah.
like that was like her rock, like the person she was probably closest to in the world. Like, it's hard to kind of judge someone for how they respond to that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's still really raw for her, so.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I see like replies to Amanda's like last tweet about the whole thing. A lot of people are on the same boat, kind of like, I mean, they're paying respect. Like, someone paid respect. Yeah, someone said here, it's also respectful to understand others' cultures and stop acting like a victim. Someone paid respect to your late husband, and you have to be the center of the tension. Of the tension. Of attention. Sorry, I can't speak. I've been speaking for an hour now, and it's too much. Yeah, very weird of you. I understand it's really tough to lose your husband, but it seemed like Samurai Del Sol was just trying to pay a tribute of sorts. He misspelled his name, and just because of that, his respects aren't accepted. Seems fishy. So yeah, Samurai Del Sol also responded to the whole situation. So Samurai Del Sol responded to Chris. He quote tweeted Chris saying, "You spelled his name wrong," and Samurai Del Sol responded with this: "My emotions got the best of me." And people are siding with him and stuff like that. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, obviously I feel horrible for Amanda and anyone who was close to Brody. I feel so weird about the whole situation. Like, I don't know whose side to be on, because I see it from both sides, respectively. I see it from both sides, and like equally. So I don't know. It seems kind of strange. Final thoughts, Sarah?
Yeah, I think in this sort of situation, like, obviously, like, we all know objectively, like, he's paying his respects. It's kind of, she was acting probably irrationally, both of them were, but when it is, his wife or someone that he was close to, you kind of have to be like, okay, this person is maybe acting irrationally, but I'm just gonna, let it go because of all the grief and all the hurt that they're going through. Probably just, be more empathetic towards that and kind of just let it go, even though it is illogical.
Yeah. All right, going on to the next topic I have here. This is kind of going to be the closing topic, I think. So I want to talk about future guests that I'm going to have onto this podcast as well. I think everything we covered here was really great. This has been a fun time. I love talking about this. I want to try and get this out weekly, maybe try and stick to a certain day every week. Who knows? I want to try and get this out weekly. Regarding videos and everything like that, I still am working on videos in my spare time on figures and everything. I'm working on them when I can. I really, if you've listened to this far into it and you haven't checked out my most recent video, which is my side of the whole story, which is a response to someone. You can watch the whole thing. You can listen to it if you want. It's on Spotify. It's on YouTube. You can check that out in your meantime. You'll get the whole kind of rundown. But basically, I haven't been in a great place mentally. So that's why I haven't been doing much content creating, because I've been trying to focus on myself and outside of Instagram and me as a person. So I've been trying to focus on that a lot. So I apologize if anyone felt betrayed by that. I don't know. They expected something from me. I expect content of me. I expect great content to put out for people. I love making videos. But sometimes it just you need to put yourself first, and that's what I've been trying to do these past few months, or this whole year, I should say. But I still want to do interviews coming. I'm actually sitting down next week with Steve Ozer, action figure attack from Mattel. Woo, Sarah, how cool is that? Yeah, woo!
Woo, hell yeah. I think it wouldn't unmute.
I saw you unmuted and then muted instantly. But yeah, talking with Steve Ozer. You can keep it unmuted for now. Talking with Steve Ozer.
Okay.
I think that's going to be great. I've got a bunch of cool topics regarding the new elites, a bunch of the reveals that we saw from Ringside Fest. So it's going to be very fun to sit down and talk with him. Make sure you check that out when it comes out. Subscribe here. If you're listening on Spotify, follow, and make sure you keep up to date with when that drops, because I think that's going to be a really great talk. I can't wait to talk with Steve. It's going to be really fun. But yeah, other than that, if you've listened this far way into it, oh man, I respect you dearly. But yeah, it's been a great fun time talking. I think we're at like 50 something minutes now, which is kind of crazy. I feel like that went really fast. So yeah, definitely want to do more of these. If you guys like this sort of content, let me know. I always love rambling, and if there's something to talk about, I feel like it's easier to actually speak it instead of text it. A lot of my opinions and everything on my Instagram are all just text, but I feel like it is easier and probably better to consume and easier to understand. Easier for me to even put it out there if I speak about it instead of actually typing it on my phone and putting it on my story or making a post about it or whatever. But if you enjoyed it, let me know. Shoot me a message on Instagram at NickStormReview. Sarah, thank you for joining me on this. Where can they find you?
They can find me at Night Shift Customs on Instagram.
Hell yeah. But yeah, you can find me on Instagram at NickStormReview, YouTube here at NickStormReview. Subscribe, turn on post notifications. Don't miss out on an upload from the Australian icon, which is moi, and also on Spotify here as well. If you're listening on Spotify, bless your soul. I appreciate you dearly. Thank you so much for doing that. And yeah, with that being said, thank you all for listening, and yeah, I hope you have a fun day. Nah, just kidding. Thank you. Bye.
Nick Storm, the Australian